Tonight was the one night a year that Raw faces SmackDown, except for all the other nights where that happens. We're going to talk about it right here, right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That is how you start a show. We are here to talk about Survivor Series 2017. I'm your host, Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. To my far left with his hoodie almost up, rocking the Adidas. Far left.
See, we're both wearing hoodies. I thought you were talking about
the
her.
Encyclopedia of Sports Entertainment, Mr. George Hermoza.
See, I'm telling you, I think the last pay-per-view in Anaheim was WrestleMania 2000.
I never Googled it to see.
I'm telling you.
And they've had a lot of TV there since. Where can they find you on Twitter, George?
You can find me at G Hermoza, G-H-E-R-M-O-Z-A, G-H-E-R-M-O-Z-A. Get me to 600 followers. I think I'm at 550. Let's knock on that road to 600.
And to
Let's do it.
Right, Taylor Swift's #1 fan, Denice Salcedo. That's not sad at all. Taylor Swift is God.
I'm too hyped right now, honestly. I don't know why this always happens. But anyways, you guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram and on YouTube at _Denice Salcedo. And the hoodie thing was my idea first. I did it first.
No,
hoodies
I mean,
in general?
I know. Whatever. Just keep going.
All right. So, Survivor Series. As a card, in total, how are we feeling? How do we like it?
You know what? Okay, so for this one, when the card started getting built up, I was like, oh man, like this is gonna be good. And honestly, I thought Survivor Series was a great show. It was fun. There was maybe one or two matches where I was just like, whatevers. But overall, I thought this was a fun show.
I thought it was a good show. I think some of the middle could have done some better, but I think overall, it started great, ended great. One great, phenomenal match. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think that's how we all feel. Like it's kind of. People have been comparing wrestling to fast food recently on my Twitter feed, so I'll just kind of go along with that analogy that if WrestleMania is like the Golden Corral, where it's just a lot of everything, then the Big Fours are some level of watered-down Golden Corral.
See, I've never been to Golden Corral, so I wouldn't know.
Have you been to an old country buffet? Have you
Be
been
careful to what city you go to, because if you go to a really bad Golden Corral, there's like a bunch of people just like stuffing their faces.
I've been at Cracker Barrel.
Gross.
Cracker Barrel's bomb.
Cracker Barrel is bomb. It's not that. I'm talking about like a buffet style that like
there's a lot going on.
Why don't you say like Soup Plantation or like Hometown Buffet?
Hometown Buffet would be a good way.
Okay.
Hometown Buffet would
be
good.
They're both garbage, but whatever.
Well, I'm not. But like as a whole, they're garbage.
You can just get so much.
But there's so like.
Okay.
As a whole, they're garbage, not because any one particular dish is terrible. It's all incredibly mediocre. And I'm not saying the show is mediocre. I really enjoyed this show. I am saying, by virtue of being a tentpole Big Four pay-per-view, you have to run into the fact that it's probably going to be a little.
Which Twitter followers compare it to food?
People are talking on the internet.
That's weird.
We're all talking like our president now.
Get off the internet.
We had two matches unannounced. First of which started off the night. It was Elias, Matt Hardy. It happened. We all love Elias. We all love Matt Hardy.
Well, you don't like Elias.
I don't like Elias.
Yeah, so no, we don't. We almost all like Elias.
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't like Elias.
Sorry.
I love Elias.
We can't
take a walk.
We can't all agree on the same people.
No, I know. I know. I'm saying. I mean, while I'm walking with Elias, you'll be,
running from Elias. All right.
Running from Elias. This match was as promised, and it wasn't booked, so it wasn't. There was no promise. It was in fact a match. These guys are great. I'll get to a rant later about stakes, but I also do like the idea that on the pre-show at the very least, Raw and SmackDown get a showcase match, if you will, where it's like this is Elias and Matt Hardy, this is our showcase, but it's just an actual Raw match, and then SmackDown does, and then the cruiserweights do, versus having two SmackDown versus Raw matches in the pre-show that nobody cares about, but that somehow go toward this weird scoreboard we're following throughout the night. Next up after this match, we had Enzo Amore and Kalisto for the Cruiserweight Championship. I liked this match, but I've seen this match. We've all seen this match.
I think it's kind of like where do you go? We're just going back and forth here with the Cruiserweight division. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing. It's kind of like, okay, let's just put these guys on the show. But we all kind of felt like,
Yeah, but I'm all about it.
Honestly, yeah, I think this was a match just because they felt like they had the mandatory cruiserweight championship match for the pay-per-view. That, well, we don't have enough time for you on the regular show, so let's put you on the pre-show because you're not really involved in the brand war.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I think a lot of us get frustrated by the cruiserweight division because there's so much talent in the roster that we get frustrated because we see potential. Like, I see potential in a Kalisto-Enzo Amore match being the most important match on the night. Because we care, that Kalisto cares so much about pro wrestling and Enzo Amore cares so much about being Enzo Amore, that they clash. That's probably the story they're trying to tell. I just didn't see it in the 8 minutes 45 seconds they had on the pre-show.
Like, this is just we could go into a whole separate discussion when it comes to the cruiserweight division, just because, you know, it doesn't necessarily cruiserweight guys, but not really doing a cruiserweight style, I guess you can say. So that's like a whole argument within itself. But hey,
I will say they did a good thing with making Enzo champion and making him a lightning rod for viewership. I can't speak to how well they're doing once they have the lightning.
Right.
But we had some predictions on this one. The percents on that were 8.1% Kalisto, 0.9% some type of schmuzz, 91% Enzo Amore. Nobody was getting fooled here. Enzo Amore over 8 minutes 45 seconds. A great showing by Kalisto, who had his birthday live on television last Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. That's when 205 Live happens. And that was the match. We then get a third pre-show match. This is the second unannounced match we got. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, two of the biggest stars not on the Survivor Series. I would say the two biggest stars not on the Survivor Series card.
I think this one was obvious, though, because the second that I saw them on the pre-show, everyone was kind of like, okay, well, they're obviously going to make a run-in in the main event,
of course.
So, I mean,
it's a way.
There was a reason. It wasn't just like, oh, let's just throw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the pre-show that really, you know, is seen as less, you know, to people. This one was just like, okay, we have a plan for them later on in the show, which is great because it also gave Breezango something to do.
It's an attempt at subterfuge, I'd say. That, like, in your mind, if they went out once, you're less likely to think they'll come out again. So it's an attempt at subterfuge. It's also like you're paying them to come out to Houston, like have them come out and have a match. Like these four. Correct me if I'm wrong, these four in this combination have never actually faced each other. We haven't seen very much of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as just like a regular tag team or like a regular teamed group. That I think I enjoyed seeing them out there. I enjoyed the work. I enjoyed the promo work up top. Like, they're clearly trying to make Breezango serious in the ring and then not serious in the vignettes, which is a really difficult line to walk. But I think if it goes how it went tonight, I think it's going to happen. Cool. We're through the
I don't know. You know me. I'm very like anti like rumors and I guess innuendo. Some people like to listen to certain podcasts. I just hate anybody that's like, oh well, obviously it's a demotion because of the punishment that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens got from the European tour. It's like, dude, relax. Like, if anything, I look at it as like, cool. Now it gives people a reason to watch the Breezango match because they're not really featured in the ring, at least. I don't even think they were on SmackDown this past week, except for that, that whole, battle, whatever.
Siege, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it kind of goes into just the whole storyline. Like, you have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens who, don't get along with Shane McMahon. So, like, why would Shane McMahon or even Daniel Bryan to some extent going to include them in a featured role on the pay-per-view? So, yeah, it fit perfectly well with, obviously, the main event run-in.
Had they not done the run, and then I would have been like, oh, what's happening here,
I think, I'm guilty because I enjoy, I think the rumor and innuendo and the speculation is part of what makes the product fun. I consider it fantasy football. I can consider that part fantasy football, that if you get like inside, like you do some inside boxing, like inside terms, like, oh, I heard they got sent home from the European tour and no one's happy with them and they're really outspoken.
But I think with me,
guys, and like I enjoy that aspect of the story enough that I enjoy it that way. But I also don't get disappointed when I'm dead wrong because I'm reading fifth-hand accounts.
I think with me, and again, this is just me. I know I'm weird. That like I'm just not a big fan of like people basing their opinion off rumors. I want it to be based on facts.
Yeah.
Go on the facts, not just it makes sense because of they're getting buried. Like, no, man, you don't know anything.
Or at the very least, and call me out on it in the comments if I'm wrong. At the very least, when I bring something like that up, I try my best to say the narrative I've been told. what I believe to be fact based on what's been reported.
By the way,
leads me to
Starrcade
believe.
on the WWE Network. High five? No? Whatever.
It's still not happening on the WWE Network.
It's not official until the day after,
They
right?
might-
You guys were confusing me, by the way. Side note, with all your text messages, I was like trying to have fun at Knots, and you guys were going back and forth about Starrcade.
Guys,
Side note.
gonna have to watch Starrcade on Periscope.
I like to tease Steve when it comes to that.
I may not be completely correct about whether or not Starrcade is on the WWE Network. It will be on Periscope, I'm sure. Someone, please, Periscope Starrcade. I want to watch it. Let's just dive in to the main card. We started off huge, and they let us know in the pre-show, leading into the actual show, what the beginning match will be, the first match will be, and I thought this was genius because you need to get everybody excited. And we got really excited because this was the match we were all most excited for, I would say, The Shield versus The New Day. It is SmackDown versus Raw, but it is also the two most prolific new stables of the last 5 years. Like, I can't think of two stables that like The Shield and New Day are in the last 5 years. Those have been the big stables.
And
Like,
I think
now
more
we-
so because I mean, obviously, people are gonna say, "Well, what about the Wyatts? Well, what about them? We're not naming top 3, top 5."
We're saying one of them.
Because no, not even that. Because you have the New Day, which have probably gone on to like so much success as a group, and then you have the Shield has gone on so much success as singles. Now they're coming back together as this kind of, yes, they kind of broken together, but now they're kind of this all-star team of like, whoa, you got 6 world championships between you 3.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
Like, that's really huge for the Shield, and I think we all kind of lose sight, partially because the same.
be like if-
I know people kind of don't like Roman Reigns and want to focus.
Yeah.
Want to focus on.
Because
their
even
hate.
kind of like when Evolution got back together to face the Shield, it was like Batista had so much more reigns in him. Randy Orton had like 10 more champions. I mean, that's still kind of cool. Kind of little. I know. I'm kind of curious what they are going to do with the Shield. I know New Day says a lot. Where like, oh, they're just part time. We all know they're in WrestleMania time. They're all going to have their singles matches. You know.
Which they're not wrong. I would love, especially if we're doing the big stable now, because that would be something you could possibly play toward a Mania. Like,
Yeah, I thought this would have been a cool Mania match, if anything.
Honestly, for me, like, this match was a lot of fun. Like, I think it was a great way to kick off the show because, you know, when we think of Survivor Series, you know, we want to obviously see them, like, you know, the groups go head to head against each other in, like, a mad, like, I want to kick your ass sort of way. And this was kind of like the perfect way to do so, where we're seeing a lot of different stuff, you know, in and outside of the ring. It was fun. It was fast. It was a good thing. And, you know, with the Shield coming back together, we all know that Roman needs this because, let's face it, he's getting booed a lot less now. So, you know, that's helping him out. But nonetheless, I mean, it didn't disappoint to me, honestly. It was a great way to start off the show.
And let's also be fair, meningitis is no joke. Roman could probably use a 6-man match this week. Like, he's probably not 100% yet. It's probably for the best he doesn't have to go one-on-one with somebody.
No, he's 100%.
Is he 100%?
You don't get meningitis and come back at 99%. Trust me.
Well,
Fair.
I don't think
I don't actually know anything
WWE would
about that.
probably have like allowed it. I think, you know.
Yeah.
I want to be
and
on the safe side.
And it's not like he slept through this match. He did a lot of work in this match. This match was so cool, so much fun. It was a face-face match, which is really interesting to go. The people just kind of picked what they liked when they liked it. I thought it was great. It was everything I was expecting from a Shield New Day match. I think my tweet at that point after the match was over was, if the power went out and Survivor Series didn't happen, I'd be all right.
I'm kind of a sucker for 6-man tags. Like I've always thought that they're like a lost art in pro wrestling. Even going back to like the Von Erichs and the Freebirds, like I don't know, just to me it's like such a lost art. This goes to show you why 6-man tags can be so beneficial. That's how Daniel Bryan got over, if you guys remember. Like I don't know, just thumbs up to this match.
Thumbs up to this match, everything about it. And I like to stress the numbers a lot, partially because 93.7% thought it would be the Shield, 0.9% thought it would be some type of schmaz, 5.4% thought it would be the New Day.
See, I would have been one of the 0.9.
Really?
I thought it would have been like a little schmaz.
Because they wanted, because then they could. I knew we were having 7 matches going in, so you had to have 7 definitive falls either way.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit. But in my mind, I like to point to these numbers sometime and say, like the Enzo match. Here's why nobody cared about your match, because everybody knew who would win and there were no stakes. This is the exact opposite. Everybody knew the Shield would win. Everybody still loved this match. and it's a good testament to just good storytelling, good in-ring storytelling, and there's talk of a Big E heel turn. I don't want it.
Dude, Big E was
saying
so
this?
impressive, man. He is so strong. It's like next level crazy.
And by talk, I mean me and like 5 other people on Twitter. We compare wrestling to food, and
I need to start going on your Twitter page.
we compare it to food, and then we also.
I mean, but by your point, I do think it's a little weird, or maybe funny, how like they are kind of focusing on like, well, we all know by WrestleMania time, you guys aren't going to be in a group. I like the fact that they've said that like a few times now, kind of like maybe it's going to be a Woods heel. I think Woods was the one that said it.
I think E said it today, and then Woods said it last week.
I think it's a little weird. I mean, maybe it is a foreshadowing for upcoming event. Maybe we were going to see a triple threat New Day match at WrestleMania. But I don't know. I think it's going to be one of those things where nobody wants to see.
I personally feel that way. But I kind of feel that way a lot of times when they just break a team up.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to see them break up Gable and Jordan.
Me either.
Like there's sometimes I'm
And
like,
it still has proven to be a bad idea.
actually Enzo and Kaz, they're just trying to make that work. But I kind of sometimes they break stuff up prematurely. I thought the Shield breakup was perfect, obviously, but then like the Wyatts just kind of come and like drift away. Like it's all weird. Let's get on to the next match. We have the 5-on-5s inter-brand elimination match between Team Raw women and Team SmackDown women. Team Raw, captained by Alicia Fox.
Can't stand Alicia Fox.
That's the point. It's
no,
awesome.
like I can't stand her.
And Team SmackDown Live, captained by Becky Lynch. This is a great match. 18 minutes, 35 seconds.
Is it just me? Like, I mean, I think the point of like, oh, she's supposed to be annoying. No. She like annoys the F out of me.
She doesn't annoy me per se. I just think that she's just there. Like whether or not she was in the company really wouldn't make any sort of change.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like actually annoy me. But the thing that did actually kind of bug me in this match though was that Natalya kind of came in and she was like happy. She shouldn't be happy. She just lost.
Like, she should be super upset.
Yeah, she should
should
be
see
like
this as a demotion.
Right, like see it as a demotion or whatever, or been like, oh, like you guys need my help. I shouldn't be here. You know, I should be going up against Alexa. That was one of the things where I was kind of like, okay, Natalya, like you're all happy to be a part of Team SmackDown, but let's face it, you'd probably rather be going up against Alexa with your belt and whatnot. But nonetheless, I did like that they did have Asuka kind of be the the last person standing
survivor.
for Team Raw.
Yep.
Exactly. I thought it would have been cool had she like totally wiped out the entire all of Team SmackDown. That would have been pretty cool. But again, I mean, obviously can't help it.
A
but
3-person sweep is pretty good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also, we have to talk about this Stephanie McMahon pep talk.
Yes. Oh my gosh, my favorite part.
You enjoyed this?
Yes,
Okay.
my favorite part. Okay, my favorite part specifically was when she kind of just told Bailey, no more hugs. That's it. Those like
Just
few
that
little words.
tiny bit.
That tiny little bit. I was serving myself pizza at this time, and I heard that, and I was like, oh, that was hilarious, and I like
Is it
died.
pizza?
Yeah. It
What
was
kind of pizza?
Domino's? Am I allowed to say that? I
No,
don't know.
I
Okay.
don't like that. I don't like Domino's.
I don't know why George is interested, but yes.
Nonetheless, I like ran from the kitchen. I was like, oh, that was funny. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I liked the pep talk. You didn't like it?
I have an issue with Stephanie on TV sometimes.
Okay, see, and I'm a Stephanie Mark, so.
Okay, then but I actually like Stephanie in the ring though, and I liked when she had that program with Brie Bella. I like that she can get in the ring and actually back it up because that sells tickets and that's the fundamentals. Sometimes when she just talks down to people, and I know she's not going to get in the ring like.
But she wasn't talking down on anybody here. Yeah.
I know. But in here, it was a matter.
It just irks you either way, I
But
guess.
I think it irks me because she's done that in the past, and then this is the same character that's done that. Talking down, leadership by talking down, which I understand that's how her character is. It's just, the way she talks always sometimes rides the line of, I'm going to break you down so you build yourself back up. The only problem is I don't want to see you break down somebody you've already built up on your TV for me to like. If you're not going to get in and get beat by them. That's my Stephanie problems.
Oh, got it. But nonetheless, though, I thought this was fun to see. Like the pep talk.
Yeah. Bailey, no more hugs. Roll-ups, though. Roll up.
You know what? Even with Bailey, like even when they did the whole when they attacked SmackDown, it was just weird to see Bailey like that. Throwing it just wasn't Bailey.
That's a frustrating thing sometimes too
You
with
know?
Bailey. Like that's not the first time Bailey has just joined a heelish group and just done what the heelish group did. That I think the SmackDown invading Raw thing was a little different because it's like, well, everybody's just invading. Whereas with with like there have been other times where I'm just like, why? There should at least be a moment where somebody like peer pressures her into doing that.
Yeah, it's just not Bailey, so it's gonna be kind of weird, like if and when they do turn her heel. But either way, it's gonna be like kind of odd to see because I'm so used to seeing Bailey as the ultimate good girl.
Bailey rolls up Becky Lynch in the first 2 minutes. Team SmackDown Live is now captainless. I guess captains mean something. But I don't know. I'm just weird. Where in my mind I'm like, but what does a captain actually do?
I mean, I was curious
Shane
about that a few weeks ago, where it's like,
but even this week, like if Shane McMahon can put Natalya on the team, what does Becky Lynch do?
well, maybe Becky put her on the team.
Shane McMahon tweeted it. That
Oh, she did.
Did she?
Maybe maybe after a.
After he consulted with
Maybe
Becky
after the
Lynch?
show. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna get in these weeds right now. Tamina eliminates Bailey.
Did you guys like the whole Tamina Nia Jax face off?
I enjoyed that.
Oh.
I can care less for Tamina, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for that, but like, I don't know. Tamina doesn't do it for me. Like, I don't know. I know she's the second generation.
Does Nia Jax do it for you?
I mean, I think she does a lot better at her role than Tamina does.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tamina's never really impressed me. Name me your favorite Tamina match.
Well,
You know what I mean?
it's
Like-
in the future. I think everything about Tamina we should think to the future. I think.
But she's been around for like almost 10 years already. You know, she came in with the Usos.
Then we should either see her as the future or don't see her.
But
If she's on TV, we should think about what her character will be.
She's also like
moving
in her late
forward.
She's
30s as
easily
well.
replaceable, is
Yeah.
what I think.
Yes.
Eventually, once they find somebody else that has her size, like her around her size.
Like,
you
don't get me
know.
wrong.
Yeah,
I
I think
want to
that's
see
unfortunate.
Tamina. I want to see Tamina succeed. Don't get me wrong. I know she's a little up there in age, which can be like a curse, unfortunately, for women. Let's be real. But although Asuka's like up there too. But so there really is no excuse, to be honest with you. You know. But
I'm not going to defend Tamina, but I will say like a statement like that might hurt her chances because a lot of people have written her off preemptively, whereas they paired her with Lana, they gave her TV time. They're trying to do something with her. They let her do a Superfly splash over Bailey. Bailey's a pretty big deal, and then she has a stare down with Nia Jax, and then Nia Jax gets counted out. Then Alicia Fox gets rolled up by Naomi. Naomi almost immediately gets taps out to the bank statement by Sasha Banks. Carmella gets eliminated by Asuka with a spin kick. Also, Carmella slaps Asuka in the face, and Asuka gives her this face of like, oh, you think that's just this face of like, I like being slapped, Carmella. You made a mistake. It's a good gif. I'll tweet it. Carmella spin kick down. Sasha Banks goes down to the sharpshooter by Natalya. Tamina goes down by Asuka with a flying cross armbar. And then Natalya goes down by Asuka by the Asuka lock. Asuka is the sole survivor. Not to brag, but I called this weeks ago.
Well, yeah, because Asuka,
She's Asuka. She needs to dominate.
protect her. We don't get an Asuka every day, so I don't mind that they're protecting her and whatnot and having her, rise above everyone else. That's what we want to see. I mean, that's at least what I want to see.
And especially because, like, I think with Asuka, it's like I think people got it all wrong about Asuka. We're like, oh my gosh, she should have destroyed Emma. She should have this. Like,
oh no, that was different.
The
yeah.
appeal, but the appeal of Asuka isn't her destroying people. The appeal of Asuka is that she's undefeated.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how she wins, but she just finds a way to win.
I wish I remembered who'd said this, but they said it very well when people were complaining about both Emma matches. That like, oh, Asuka didn't look super strong. Whereas somebody said if the Patriots go 16-0, but it's down to the buzzer every time. Do people talk about how the Patriots can't win or that the Patriots aren't dominant? No, they talk about how the Patriots won 16 games. If Asuka beats everyone, regardless of how, it still works the same. I think some people get it in their head that she's a female Goldberg.
Yeah, she's not.
Like, and also Goldberg hurt a lot. Like, you want to talk about hurting other competitors. I'm not talking physically. I'm talking like you hurt to get squashed by Goldberg. You hurt your character because now either Goldberg needs to be someone who doesn't lose for 3 years, or whoever he does lose to is double or triple times as good or triple times as better as you.
Essentially, had Emma not been released, Asuka kind of raised her to another level.
Yes.
And that's good because we want to see that. We want to see more stars.
The percents on this match, not a huge surprise. 76.6% correctly picked Raw, 23.4% picked Team SmackDown Live. I'll get through these words somehow. That's about right. Let's move on to the United States Championship. Baron Corbin defeated The Miz. I said the United States Championship. It's the mid-card championship. It's a non-titled champion versus champion interbrand match. They went 9 minutes, 35 seconds. And for those keeping score, it is 2-0 Raw heading into this match. Was anyone kind of concerned?
I was concerned that these were 9 minutes and 35 seconds of my life I wasn't getting back. Sorry.
Really? Okay.
I wasn't a fan of this. I could care less about this. In fact, as much as I like The Miz, I do like The Miz. I just don't really care for Baron Corbin. Like sue me or whatever, but whatever.
Actually, to talk about the match in its entirety and what people think and expect and deal with, I should show the percents right now. These are people who obviously did not know the match order. They had 66% Miz, 30.6% Baron Corbin on pure objectivity. Seeing this match heading into a Raw 2-0 lead, Baron Corbin has to win. Because Raw just can't dominate the night. Nobody wants to watch that.
We kind of noticed that trend a lot during the show today. That we knew that
That
the tally and everything. Like,
But
okay.
at the very least, they used it to put over this match that, based on that data, isn't incredibly alluring, where it's like, oh, well, Miz will win. Like, they had a lot of heat on Twitter, and maybe they'll have a good match, and, like, the Miz Taraj will get involved, and, like, we all kind of know where that match was headed, where we get that extra level of, like, are they just going to let Baron Corbin win? How's Baron Corbin going to win? What's that going to look like? What's that going to mean? So I enjoyed that aspect of the match. I do agree there's something up with, like, the main roster Baron Corbin currently. I don't want to say there's anything wrong. I do think there's a retooling to be had.
This was just the point of the show that, we said the beginning was great, the ending was great. This was the start of the show where it was kind of like, okay, we already know this is not going to be anything really special.
I think the biggest thing that's holding back or that's hurting Baron Corbin is the removal of talking smack. I think that's where he really got a chance to shine and really, like, when he spoke on Talking Smack, I listened. And it's a different kind of, like, tone as opposed to having an interview on the main, on SmackDown. I know it's just different. And without that, there was no way to. Now there's no way to build off. The Miz is the Miz. The Miz can do anything. The Miz is untouchable when it comes to being on the mic. But Baron Corbin and a lot of guys too, I think they needed that platform. Raw doesn't have it, but it's Raw. It's Raw. But I don't know. Yeah, I do kind of see what you're saying. I do feel like he's lacking something. I know they gave him the U.S. belt. He's doing okay with it, but he has some good matches with Khalees, though. Yeah, they're giving him the ball, and it's just a matter of, like, well, let's see what he's doing. He's currently on that 50-yard line to see, sink or swim.
Yeah.
But it was okay. Nothing. I guess by default there has to be a worse match or a least best match. This was probably it.
I think that's a good way to put it too. That, like, this isn't anything against them personally or professionally. It's just that, like, there are 10 matches on here, not including 7 of 7 matches. This has to be the one that's not great. I think we should just leave it there. I wish we could have a bit more, because I think also what was fire about this match, and that's why they did a whole promo about it beforehand, was that they were straight fire on Twitter toward each other. And I think you're right, that's what we were getting from Baron Corbin on Talking Smack. That now he just has to do it on Twitter and hope it gets enough range that people actually pick it up and write it into TV.
The thing is that not everyone, got a chance to see that.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. I think there are a lot of moving parts over Baron Corbin, but he's, like you said, at the 50-yard line, so that's very helpful. The non-title champions versus champions inter-brand tag team match playa. We had the Usos go up against Cesaro and Sheamus. This match was fire.
They're called the Bar. We are the Bar. Although I always think they're going to say DeBarge.
Uh-huh.
Which, I'm a big fan of DeBarge, but we are DeBarge.
I don't know. I think they're still Cesaro and Sheamus to me, just because they're...
Yeah.
One is a world champion. One, in my mind, should be a future world champion. Although if you count the NWA, Cesaro is also a world champion. Like
the NWA championship.
Claudio Castagnoli was the NWA world champion.
Okay.
I'm like 80% certain that happened. There was a tournament and everything.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this match. I really enjoyed these new Usos. And how long have you?
Are they really been? I want to say, are they really new? They've been like this for like a year, right after the brand split.
They've been having some really great matches, so.
But I'm saying like.
Well, they always had great matches too.
But yeah, but I like there's a different. Usos pre brand split, and there's Usos now. These Usos like are slowly, maybe even rapidly, becoming some of the best, one of the best tag teams of all time. Like they're moving up, like they're passing like, you know, Powers of Pain and Doom and, you know, all those guys where it's like, hey, now we're in that same category as like the Rockers now. You know, obviously I think up there is maybe like Dudley's LOD, Rock and Roll Express. Now they're like on that like, you know, the British Bulldogs level.
They're climbing up the ladders.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a comparable like New Age Outlaws or like.
Yeah. I mean, I think they passed New Age Outlaws.
Really?
Yeah.
We will talk later. That's a whole other thing. I really enjoyed this.
I also think John Cena is better than Hulk Hogan overall. But go on.
How do you?
So sidetracking. Anyways,
How do you drop that? How do you drop that bomb and just be like, by the way,
Follow my Twitter, and then we can talk about it. Comment down below.
I thought this was a great match too. In terms of comparing it to, you know, to the Shield versus the New Day, I did like that one a lot more actually, I should say. But this was nonetheless, it was a good match. I love Cesaro and Sheamus as the bar together. I think they go well. The Usos are great. I mean, I was even kind of like, even though like I'm so used to seeing the Usos and the New Day, I was kind of even missing that a little bit, where I was kind of feeling like, oh, you know, like maybe we're not gonna see as great as stuff, but we did, and it was awesome. I thought this was good.
yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think we enjoyed it enough where we're like, okay, cool.
Although if we had our dream scenario, if it was champs against champs, I would have loved for it to be like Ambrose and Rollins against like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I'd like for them to be, at some point be tag team champions, and then, or maybe next year, who knows. But yeah, but this was like a good like Usos obviously just killing it on a weekly basis. The bar is like, especially after the No Mercy match.
Yeah,
like that match was insane. Like, just found out phenomenal. And then, like, these guys can go. Like, kudos to Sheamus, because I know he was kind of like, oh, what is he doing? And, you know, he's kind of looks stupid, whatever. But, like, now it's like, I mean, and I've said it before, where, like, Cesaro, yeah, I agree with you, where, like, I think he should be in that upper echelon of, you know, main event. But, like, if he's not going to be that, like.
He's on the card.
Yeah, he's on the card and he's killing it every year.
Job,
and
like,
but I'm just afraid of I just don't want him to always be that tag team wrestler. You know, like a Billy Gunn or like who else? I'm sure there's a few more other people. That's like
Road Dogg.
It's because you know that he has so much potential, and you know that he can be like, you know, a top guy in his own right. You know, but you know what? Right now, what he has with Sheamus is working though. So, but I think in the future there.
I
you know,
hope
it's just
so.
right now
I hope
because
so.
you know they also need tag teams, so it's not that bad to have them be together.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
They got plenty of tag teams in NXT. What, Claudio Castagnoli was never NWA champion?
Nope, I'm lying. 07. 07, it was the Terry Funk bracket. Sorry, it wasn't in the place I thought it would be on Wikipedia. Yes, he was. In 07, he won a tournament to become the NWA World Champion.
Oh, cool.
So,
I actually didn't know that.
By argument's sake, he's a former world champion, just as Sheamus is. Sheamus, we already kind of touched on it, but had dealt with a lot of similar hate that people like Roman or John Cena face. And kind of just leaned into it and was like, nope, I believe in myself. I believe in what I'm given. I'm going to keep just moving forward. And here he is, putting on barn burners, holding belts.
Yep, agreed.
Cool. 24.3% thought it would be Cesaro and Sheamus. 75.7% thought it would be the Usos. Those 75.7% were correct. We now have the women's champions facing off against each other. We had Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair won the title very recently. And by recently, I mean Tuesday.
So it's kind of obvious that Charlotte was going to take this one, though. I did not expect Alexa to tap, though. That was actually pretty surprising to me. I don't know if that was to anybody else, but I was kind of like, oh, okay.
I didn't see that as outside the realm of possibility, only because Alexa Bliss is such a good heel that she could literally tap out crying to Charlotte Flair, and tomorrow she can come out and still be the top heel.
Yeah.
Still be the top talker, top worker. Because she's a beatable heel. I can't, like, it's too early to say, but, like, a female, not Piper. There's someone like a Piper. A female Ted DiBiase would be a decent way to explain Alexa Bliss. On level and capacity.
She has that good thing about where, she can kind of take herself out of situations and make herself look like a victim, and it works well with her. So in a way, like, she can twist this whole thing that happened with Charlotte into some other whatever she feels like doing.
And plus,
with
too,
it.
I think the cop out is too, where like I know a lot of people have an issue with maybe her tapping out, maybe because she's champion, but keep in mind this is a non-title match. Like, it's one thing to tap out. I mean, I know it's happened plenty of times, but it's one thing to tap out, you know, in a championship match, but it's another thing to tap out in a non-championship match. Like, you got to live.
She tapped out to another champion.
You got to live to next day because you still have to defend that championship.
Yeah.
You don't want to just pass out due to pain or maybe even risk, you know, obviously kayfabe talk, risk, you know, what does a figure eight affect? The leg, the back?
Everything.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't want everything to break, and then you have to forfeit the championship tomorrow. You know, it's her being champion. I think it makes sense. I mean, I don't think anything bad is about her tapping out.
Also, it doesn't make Alexa Bliss look bad to tap out to the other world champion.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the match per se, though? Because you know what? They're both great. I love them both respectfully. However, I did think the match was good, but there was, I don't know, I kind of felt like the audience wasn't really that into this match. I don't know if you guys kind of felt the same, where I kind of felt like they were like ready to move on to the next matches or whatever. But I kind of felt like there should have been more intensity in terms of like everything that was going on. Something fell short for me, where this wasn't the best Alexa Bliss match. This wasn't the best Charlotte Flair match. It was just a match.
This had the unfortunate timing of being the match right before the two main events. Because they didn't do this in a way where they did the AJ Styles Brock Lesnar match in the middle of the card and try to have two main events and then essentially try to make it into two shows. They do that sometimes. Obviously, this card is so top heavy that this has the misfortune of being, oh, if this match is out, then it's gonna be.
But they don't have to use that excuse either, though.
Oh, no,
because like it wasn't sandwiched in between the two big matches. But yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, everybody knows I'm a big Alexa Bliss fan, and I know I've get a lot of heat for saying that maybe she's even better than Charlotte. But my whole thing is like the expectation for Alexa Bliss maybe was even so low as opposed to Charlotte, where like she's supposed to be the best women wrestler. You know, she's supposed to be this. It's like, I think it's just unfair to both. Where like you have Charlotte, who's so good, it's like, sorry if she doesn't live up to the expectation just yet. I mean, she clearly does, but you just got to look beyond that. You can't just base it on her last name. It's like, even look at Alexa Bliss, where like, does everybody like her so much because she was the underdog, where she kind of came out of nowhere? No, she did it because she was that good. If they would have given her the ball in NXT, I guarantee she would have, you know, ran with it.
I guarantee that too, but I also think part of the reason she had such a good run on the main roster too was that her character was very fresh for the main roster, whereas a lot of other people who came up through NXT at the exact same time, anyone who watched NXT was very familiar with who they were and what they were doing. Whereas Alexa Bliss had a lot less TV time down in NXT than a lot of other people. But this match, 17.1%, only 17.1% thought it would be Alexa Bliss, 2.7 some kind of schmaz, 80.2 Charlotte Flair. There were no schmazes tonight. Everything went down to a decided finish. So those were out. Let's get into the co-main event of the evening. A lot of us thought this would be the match that goes on last. I think we all know the saying that that's not the main event. The main event's what you make it. Home is where the heart is, all those things. Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. Champ versus champ. The beast versus the best. I had that. And I was thinking the face versus the fierce. That's where I got lost. There was a third one there. I don't have it.
This may not have been the main event or whatever, but when you asked me, Denise, what did you remember most from Survivor Series 2017? I'm going to tell you Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles.
Oh, 10 years from now.
Exactly. So this was the highlight of the show. This was the best portion. I honestly, look, I was super excited for it, and it did not disappoint. AJ Styles did what he had to do. He took all these crazy bumps, made Brock Lesnar look like a beast, okay? Yeah. And that's what AJ Styles is good at. He's good at, making the other guy look better. And that's, that's a very particular set of skills that not every athlete has. And then the fact that Brock Lesnar, even after the match, was just showing so much respect to AJ Styles by still selling the knee. You know that Brock Lesnar isn't going to do that for just anybody, okay? This is Brock we're talking about.
By just anyone. Do you mean anyone in particular?
And look, and honestly, this match, it was the perfect I think, time limit, I guess you can say, because we knew this match wasn't going to go very long. And
Yeah.
I don't know how long it lasted.
15, 25.
15 minutes? Okay. I thought that was pretty good, and it went fast. It started fast. It was exactly what you want in a Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles
A
match.
Brock Lesnar match is the fastest 15 minutes of your life.
Yeah. And even
10 to
afterwards,
15 minutes,
when
yeah.
the match ended, I was kind of like, oh, I kind of want to see it go on forever and ever, because it's just that good. You want to have it all the time.
I'll just go to show you just how good AJ Styles is, and especially with like Brock, where he kind of has had a specific style since he's come back to the WWE.
Yes.
Where kind of has a MMA, like, you know, just suplexes and whatnot. So it's kind of see him like. And again, one of my biggest pet peeves about, or complaints about Brock Lesnar is he's facing the same guys that he did the first time. Big Show, John Cena, like, all right, I get it. So to see him, even if it would have been against Jinder, it would have been like such a breath of fresh air. And knowing it's pretty much against now probably the best wrestler in the entire world, like, yeah, this match was such a breath of fresh air. It was awesome. 3 thumbs up. I mean, that's how good it was because I only have 2 in there.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
say,
see
I was
what
like,
you did there.
I thought it in terms of stars, but then I was like, wait, no thumbs. Okay, whatever.
But yeah, this match definitely match of the year contender.
Someone in the chat just predicted 90% Brock Lesnar. It was actually 76.6 Brock Lesnar, which I agree actually is a little low.
Well, see, here's the thing about that, too, is that, you know, most of us thought, obviously, that Brock Lesnar was going to win, as you can see in the numbers. But there was a moment during the match where you thought, oh, my God, maybe AJ Styles might win this match. And, you know, that's pretty cool that he kind of made you, like, second-guess yourself,
That's not out
you
of the
know?
realm of possibility. If Brock Lesnar's the beast, but AJ Styles is the best, you could argue that Brock Lesnar would still be Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles would win because AJ Styles is a better wrestler. And Brock Lesnar's a better beast, a better dominant force. And AJ Styles just overcame him. By the way, 13.5% thought it would be AJ Styles, 9.9% thought it would be some type of no contest, which a big match like this, I could see a dusty finish, a no contest, a rope breaks, the ring breaks, like something like that you can then not have a final decision. But once again, if there are 7 head-to-head matches on the card, you can't end in a tie. You can't end the whole night in a tie.
This match, at least for me, it had the unfortunate circumstance of, like, I thought the finish was completely predictable. I thought there was no doubt that Brock was going to win. That doesn't mean it was bad.
Yeah.
The main event for WrestleMania 30 was predictable, but it was like the best thing ever. You know, I mean, it's just because of the, like, oh well, now Raw. You knew it wasn't going to be. You knew it was going to be tied going into the main event. You know, like, so it just sucks, but whatever. Took away a little bit from the match, but overall, I mean, it was still really, really, really awesome.
Yeah, this was the main event to me. I understand why it didn't go on last. I do appreciate the fact that the Survivor Series pay-per-view has the Survivor Series match, the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, go on last. So I'm not gonna knock them for doing that, but in my mind, I'm like Denise said, 5 years from now, we're not gonna remember that, like, there was a Triple H, John Cena, 10-person, everybody works a little kind of a match. We're gonna remember that barn burner that was possibly the only time AJ Styles ever fought possibly the only time AJ Styles ever fought Brock Lesnar.
Hopefully not the only time.
Hopefully not the only time, but it might be once in a lifetime. Well, in the WWE, once in a lifetime is
Crying.
not.
So one more time, they're gonna wrestle.
Yeah.
Essentially.
This 5-on-5 was really star-studded. It was Team Raw, which was Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Triple H went up against Team SmackDown Live, which was Shane McMahon, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and, sorry, I didn't change the thing, Randy Orton and Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon was the captain. And John Cena. All those people. It happens sometimes. You try to read off a screen when it's bigger in the screen closer to you. This match was fun, though.
It was fun.
It's a Survivor Series match. You get to tease a bunch of matchups you've never seen, like Finn Balor, Randy Orton. Like
Samoa Joe, Randy Orton.
Samoa Joe, John Cena has never technically happened. Although they were in XPW at the same time. UPW for like a second. Sorry. XPW was a completely different thing.
Actually, you'd be there for longer than a second. But I mean, yeah. I mean, I want to know what you guys thought. Like, what did you pop for more bigger? Because for me, it was Triple H, Bobby Roode.
I liked that a lot.
That was interesting. I thought for me, I think I got more excited with Shinsuke and Finn.
Shinsuke and Finn was cool too, because you know if we lived in a reality where AJ Styles never came over, but Shinsuke and Finn Balor did, that's the match that they're hyping toward Mania. Because Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor can be a match.
Yeah. But I did like Triple H and Bobby Roode, mainly because it was kind of like, you could kind of tell that they knew that everyone was thinking the exact same thing, and you can kind of see it in their faces where it's kind of like, I don't know, wrestling a mirror or whatever. You know?
A little bit, yeah.
But honestly, though, for this match, I thought that, everybody did their part, whatever. It was good. It was a fun match. It is what it is. The ending to me was just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I didn't necessarily love the ending. I was just a little confused. I had the Braun face,
I think
the Braun. I go to call it the Fucci face because he was just like, what? And I was like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Is hashtag Braun face a thing?
I think the biggest thing that I saw online, and I hate going online, but sometimes you just can't see it. You can't avoid it.
Sometimes you need airfare tickets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just go online.
Is that like a lot of people were complaining that like the first few eliminations were like Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, like Finn Balor. So it's like all that was left was like John Cena, Orton, Shane, and like Kurt Angle, Triple H, and obviously Strowman was still there at the end. But my thing is like this: is like when I was watching this match, I look at it. And I don't know if you guys watch basketball at all.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Familiar.
So if ever you watch an NBA All-Star game, obviously you have your West versus East, and they play each other every now and then, not as much as if you're in the same division, but like in the first like 3 quarters, it's like alley-oop, dunk, 360, like it's like showcase, like nobody cares because like the which we'll probably get into in a second, like the match, the game means nothing. But like, and that fourth quarter was like, all right, now I kind of want to win, So now we see less of the fight. Now we see like the LeBron score, and previously it would be Kobe, I thought of it like that, where it's like,
and that's what Survivor Series is supposed to be.
But even so, you look at the guys that did get eliminated early on, we're like, they've really only been on the main roster for like a year, if that, maybe a little bit more than a year. It's like they still have a lot of time to grow. Yes, they might be in their late 30s, but hey, like Triple H is like 48. Like, and look at him now. Granted, he's the next owner of the company.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, give it a chance. Like these guys have so much time to groom. They have so much time to grow. Like. This might be like Cena's. Cena didn't even do that much. And even like look at Samoa Joe, where like he had 2 AAs to put him out. It's like
it worked.
Yeah.
I think if the ending wasn't compelling as compelling as it is, I would have been upset. It's like, man, and then they teased all these things, and then none of it happened, and like all this stuff. Whereas like the end, I found the ending at least compelling and interesting.
I think it got more interesting when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens came in.
Yes. But I think everything from the ending there if they didn't have anything compelling or interesting to do with Nakamura and Roode, tease the stuff, let them do their stuff, and then get out of there.
I would especially during like we might not see Triple H versus Roode, so I like that we got that. But like I kind of wanted to see like a standoff with like Angle and Nakamura, or a longer one with Joe and Cena, like something that we might not ever really see. And obviously maybe the seeds were planted for creating with Triple H. That I know.
Kind of. You think kind of? I think that's all but guaranteed now.
So maybe that was the problem, though, is that we want to see a little bit of that and a little bit of this, but there was just too much that we obviously can't get it all.
Yeah, or maybe they're saving it for Rumble because we see a lot of that.
Well, yeah, we see a lot, and I think but
I don't see Kurt Angle or Triple H being in the Rumble either.
I think that's part of that's part of why they're doing it here.
Yeah,
because they know Bobby Roode will get all the time in the world to tell whatever story he wants to tell with someone on the Raw side, whether it be Samoa Joe or Finn Balor, in the Rumble. Because it's the Rumble. The Rumble is my favorite match of the year. Because you get...
Going?
No. Well, I'm not currently scheduled to go. Never say never.
Yeah. And Starrcade will happen, damn it.
Card subject to change. But I do think that maybe that's part of it. That like some of the Nakamura AJ Styles tease is probably going to happen at the Rumble. They're probably both going to be in the Rumble, but that would mean never mind.
I mean, who knows? I mean, they already announced the SmackDown AJ versus Jinder, so maybe Jinder might win it back. Who knows?
Possibly.
But
you would think that would happen in the India tour, but I'm hearing that the numbers aren't as high for the India tour. But that's a whole thing.
I would think that you want Jinder coming in as champion, but that's just
I would think you'd want him to win,
but you
to
can't
make
even
it
televise
special
it,
for
though,
your
unless
people.
you televise it, or
You
maybe
would-
even just that one match. But I don't know. I don't know. Like this match was good. Like I'm a big fan of like Survivor Series matches, but I don't know. I thought the pacing was just weird. Like it started off really cool, but there was like one spot where like Triple H looked like he was hurt.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, he switched sides with like Samoa Joe. It's just weird. Like even with
Was
like
a
the
little
whole
slow with Kurt
yeah,
in the
even
ring.
like when Shane McMahon was like the last person, it was like I don't get a lot of stalling because you know you're gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just like a little off. Like I thought last year's was good. I thought 2014 Survivor Series was awesome, or that main event match. But
The Sting.
yeah, with Dolph Ziggler is
The Sting Ziggler thing. I enjoyed this. This was hard to predict. It was 40.5 to 59.5.
See, I would have picked Raw just because SmackDown won last year.
Me too. Me too. Also with stakes, and this will be my last part about stakes in wrestling. They should all go to an Outback, I guess.
Yeah, see, I thought that's where you're going. I thought that's where you were heading.
No,
I'm like,
I think in my mind, if there was one mention from Stephanie or Vince or whoever, like it could just kind of happen that the winner of Survivor Series, the winner of the night, gets Money in the Bank.
Yeah, see, that's what I see. It's like,
Stakes,
see,
simple.
whenever they would say,
'Cause Raw's
whenever
getting
they say
Money in
like,
the Bank.
oh, winner gets brand supremacy. Okay, what is that going to get you? Like, I
Winner
know,
brand
bragging
supremacy.
rights.
and even like going back to the All-Star game, it's like NBA, that game means nothing. But now it's gone to the point where the baseball one, like
You
the
get home
winner
field
gets home
advantage
field
in World Series.
advantage. You
Like,
know,
that's
at least
huge.
something, anything.
The
Even
number
if you
30
already,
in Royal Rumble. Like
even,
anything.
Even if you had already planned out, because most likely Raw's going to get Money in the Bank because SmackDown got it last year. Even if everybody's like obvious, like because I said this for Mania, where I think like AJ should face Samoa Joe and the winner gets Money in the Bank. Like even for that, like just something that we're like, you know, makes it like just something that you're worth fighting for. Like, what's the point of having like Braun Strowman or like why is it so important for these guys to be on the team? Oh, because you have brand supremacy. Like, no, because now you can have the possibility to compete in a match that can maybe get you Money in the Bank and then go on to be WWE champion. Like, I don't know. I just felt like that was the one thing that was missing from this show.
Then we're in agreement that like
Yes, we do agree.
we do agree that I think
What about you, Denise? Do you agree?
Unless you really care about that tally score and you just want to be like
well,
up.
I understand the idea, the idea that
Yeah,
I want
just
to win
winning,
to
yeah.
win, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it would make more sense for Natalya to just jump into a spot that Charlotte vacated because she beat her. Like I think that would make a lot more sense for Natalya to be like, you know what, it happens, but I need my brand to have Money in the Bank this year, so I can win Money in the
Yeah.
Bank and have an opportunity. Like, it's all
or
or
even
nothing.
like, or even something where like the winner of now the Royal Rumble, like, cause you know sometimes you get like, oh, who won the Royal Rumble last year? Randy Orton. But he was like in like the third to last main event match from WrestleMania. Like,
You
oh,
get the main
yeah,
event.
the
at
main
WrestleMania.
event. You know what I mean?
All that. I think we're in agreement there. Real quick. All those numbers, by the way, have been coming from the ABTV PPV champ. That's their Twitter handle. It is the AfterBuzz TV Predictions Championship Series. An early indicator of tonight's champion is that he is at the Garzanator.
You know,
Congratulations.
Is it he or is she?
I'm taking a fair guess.
Congratulations.
This person was perfect down to the tiebreaker, and we didn't even need.
And he hit a tiebreaker on
He
him?
hit the tiebreaker
Oh,
exactly.
Wow.
It didn't even, and no, they were perfect. They were 19 out of 19. The person below them was 18 out of 19, but they had the tiebreaker just cause. Good for you. If there's a change and I'm wrong right now, that'll be in the tweet from that person.
That correction. Oh, those are the worst way to lose.
That would suck. But that's what the spreadsheet's saying right now. I don't have time to really get into the spreadsheet. George.
It's time to wrap, so
when
here we
you
go,
have-
here we
when
go.
you have
Oh,
time to
yo,
get
yo.
into the
Yo, yo, yo.
spreadsheet, where can people find you on that Twitter, though?
Oh, yeah, time to wrap. Where can they find me? G Hermoza, GHERMOZA. Was it underscore? No, GHERMOZA. Follow me on Twitter. Hashtag road to. Are you following me on Twitter?
I am.
Are you
I'm
following?
nice.
Are you following Two Paws on Instagram?
Just do your outro.
Yeah.
I said it. G Hermoza.
Oh, okay. All right, well, my turn. All right, you guys can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Denice Salcedo, and you guys can also check me out on YouTube. I am close to 4,000 subscribers. Fingers crossed. I'm doing a new segment called The Wrestling Girl where I recap wrestling news of the week. So if you guys want to check it out, give me some comments, let me know what you think. I'd be super happy if you guys did.
And I'm your host, Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter almost exclusively at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. MANN. You can also go to thesoberyear.com. That is a vlog I'm doing about my sobriety. It's weekly check-in because I don't need to go to AA.
Cena's better than Hogan.
Thank you, and good night, everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Oh, I said steaks.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.